Okay, so now we are gone to chapter 9, and this is the last regular chapter that you have. And this is where this textbook chooses to now introduce to you the concept of setting up a QuickBooks file. So this is where nothing exists. You're starting off fresh with a brand new set of books. Now, you have existing vendors, you have existing customers, and it's going to walk you through the process on how to set that up. And right here, create a new company. So I'm going to go ahead and click there. And this box is going to pop up. So here you can do Express Start, which we're not going to do. That would be way too easy. We're going to do Detailed Start. And then, or you can create a file based on an existing one. I don't recommend this. It kind of creates a mess. It's where you like pull vendor lists and customer lists, and you pick and choose what items you want to pull out of a company file. But again, I do not recommend it. It kind of creates a gigantic mess. And then you can create it from Quicken. So for example, if you had a Quicken file that you had been using for years. Quicken is an old Intuit. It's a personal financial software. You can convert it into QuickBooks. It is not an easy conversion, but it can be done. So you can do Detailed Start. Express Start does a lot of the setup for you, but since you have this vast QuickBook knowledge now that you are almost through this textbook, we're going to do the Detailed Start. And it starts out with just basic information. And right here in this interview progress, you can see how far you are getting. Are you close to being done? Are you not close to being done? And here I'm just going to put high mountain water. And you would go ahead and you'd finish out the rest of this. And I'm not going to go through every step of this interview. This chapter is lengthy. I think almost 100 pages. A lot of that is just busy work. If you'll notice on the transmittal on page 666, there's not a lot to actually print. This is a lot of setup and a lot of tedious work, although you will need to know it for your comprehensive practice set at the end of this textbook, which is the final for this class. So you definitely need to be paying attention to what is happening and how this is set up, because unless your setup is correct on your final project, things are not going to go well for you. Okay, so and then it wants to know kind of what type of industry, and I'm just going to leave mine on accounting or bookkeeping. And then it wants to know what type of business are you? Are you sole proprietor? Are you partnership? It wants to know that so it knows how many equity accounts to create for you. And also there's some mapping to some tax software, so this can be important. Wants to know your January. Do you want? And here's where you can submit your password, and now it's going to actually create the file. And you have to tell it where to save it, and mine is out. I'm just going to go ahead and save it on my desktop. I recommend you save it on your jump drive, just as you have been. And now it's actually creating that file. You will now have a QBW file for your company. And you're actually going to do this twice. You're going to do this with Dog Days, and then you're going to turn around and do it with another company. You will only use the files that you're going to create in this chapter. You will not use them going forward. So you're going to create 2 brand new companies, and you will never use them again. Okay, and then once you get here, you can customize it. And it wants to know, are you doing service? Are you doing product? Are you doing both service and product? Do you charge sales tax? Yes. So it takes you through step by step of adding all of this in here. It sets a lot of the preferences up. And now I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to say I'm tired of this interview, and I'm going to hit leave. And now it says it doesn't matter how many times you get out of here, the next time you open up QuickBooks, the interview is going to pop back up. So you're almost better off to go in and just finish setting it up, finish the interview. And I'm just going to click through here. I'm not even really reading the questions because I want to get out of here. So here, it's going to show you how to set up your chart of accounts. It's going to help you decide what accounts you need. Some of that it's not going to know because for your specific business, you're going to have an account. So that isn't going to be the have-all, end-all, but at least it gives you some place to start. Are you going to start at the beginning of the fiscal year? What date are you going to start? If you were starting a brand new business tomorrow, July 1st, you probably have a beginning date of July 1st. So then here it gives you we think this is what you're going to want. Anything that's checked mark, we're going to put in our chart of accounts. Now, there could be way more that you need, but you'll have to enter those later. So you just kind of have to, say I never have bank service charges ever because I never bounce a check and I don't pay a fee. So you can uncheck that. Or let's say I know I have merchant account fees, so I need to. Or I pay a lot to charity. So again, the textbook walks you through this, but if you were setting this up for a company, some of it you're just going to have to think through the process. So then we go to setup. And it takes a minute. And here's where you add people you do business with, add the products you sell, and add to your bank account. I can't tell you enough that if you make mistakes while you're doing this interview, there is no way to get back to this screen. This is one of the things in QuickBooks that absolutely drives me crazy. But once they have been entered here, you would have to go back up here. Let's say the people you do business with are your vendors, and you'd have to go up and add a new vendor. Once they are here, you cannot get back into this particular screen. You can always add vendors, but this particular screen, and then it's going to give you, it wants to give you like a tour, and I'm going to get out of here. And then of course, because I opened my mouth and inserted my foot, I did misspeak. So I'm going to get it start working. And again, QuickBooks wants to take you through these little video tutorials, and you're more than welcome to watch them. They are good. And let's say you want to get back into that, go to Help, go to Quick Start Center, and then return to Add Info. So then you can add, and then you can start entering your name. And instead of you entering each individual vendor item by item, they do it in like almost Excel spreadsheet format. So I'm going to put Sandy's Dog Wash just because. And I'm going to hit continue. Okay. And you can import contacts from Outlook. You can do all sorts of. Okay. But now let's say that I decided, oh crap, I forgot somebody else. Go in here, hit continue. Yep, see, they're gone. So you have to be careful when you're doing these setups of what you're adding, what you're not. And then I'm going to go back in here one more time and continue. And then it says entering opening balances right here, opening balances. So once you have your vendors and your employees, you can enter their opening balances. And like I said, some of this is not easy to get back to. So I recommend you reading very slowly and very carefully when doing company setup. The thing about it is, it may take you 3 hours to set up a company, but once that's done, it's done. You know, you're not going to spend, so you would be better off to spend the 2 or 3 hours setting up the company correctly in the first place than you would to spend the next 10 years of your life always trying to mess with stuff because it wasn't set up correctly. So that is my hint and tips and tricks for setting up a brand new QuickBooks. I think the textbook does a really good job of going through this. And remember, once you get to here, if you don't like what this looks like, you can change this, remember. So I always like to have the top icon bar, and I also like to have my home. I love having my home because I always want to be able to run home if I'm lost. So I always add this every single time to anything I have because I want to be able to run home. I am not a big fan of this left icon bar. Some people really love this left icon bar. I am not one of them. So I always switch it to the top icon bar. And again, this is all just preferences. The other thing that this chapter talks about is all the preferences. And accountant, nope, edit, preferences. So it's going to talk about all of these preferences. It'll take you through it during the interview process. But this is how you, so to get to it, you would go edit, preferences, and then it'll take you through every single preference that QuickBooks has. And this is where you would go to customize it to fit your business need. Definitely kind of fun to kind of play around with and see exactly what each business, how each business could use some of these differently. Good luck on chapter 9. Again, please work slowly and carefully because there are times that you cannot go back and fix it. Good luck, and please let me know if you need anything.